are rolling. Okay, welcome everyone to this quick track guide here at Indianapolis Road Course. My buddy Jed asked me to do a couple laps for him in the BMW, give him some tips and some idea of how to run this thing around here. I didn't have any weather parameters, so I'm just running a morning test session with the weather that it's going to be for the IMSA official race next week, which is going to be Belle Isle. Going to be kind of overcast in the morning. So as you can see, 8:04 a.m. in the sim. Oh, actually, you can't see that. Only me, I can see that. I don't know if there's a time on here or not. I don't see one on the side that's facing the viewer. So um, I'll try to not reference my boxes that I can see. So it's 8:05 now in the sim. So a really early morning. The track conditions are going to be relatively cold. So I should be able to run a decent lap here. I also didn't have any idea of what setup to run here. I'm assuming that it's probably going to be a sprint race, so I'm just going to go with a fixed set. And we'll roll with that. That should give us a pretty balanced setup to work with here. So without further ado, let's get on the track. This is my attempt number 2 at recording this. I tried earlier and my headphone audio, me trying to talk, I guess it's really the microphone, was going in and out, very odd, so hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Go here and make a couple laps, cover some of the today, when we compare that to earlier, it is literally 0.001 off my best time. So I'm pretty consistent, hey? Anyways, let's go down to turn 1. We're going hard into the braking zone, about the 400 meter board. Back up a little bit so you can see it. That's where we want to brake. We want to stay kind of lane off of the wall on the run down the straightaway, because I'm of the belief that it actually generates a little bit of drag when you're right up against the wall. So I try to stay at least like half to 1 lane off of the wall, give myself a little room, and even if someone's going to hit me in the bumper and I jerk to the left, I don't go instantly into the wall. So as I get to the braking zone, I get a little bit closer. Obviously you want to try to take as much of the track as you can. So brake at the 400 meter board. We're going to go down to 2nd gear, and we're going to try to square this corner off as much as possible. If we take it too fast, we're going to wind up out there in the grass or on those curbing rumble strips out there. We want to take this so that we exit right in the middle of the racetrack. As we accelerate, we're going to give it a lift of throttle, and then we're either going to lift all the way or just half of the way out, let the car rotate in 2nd gear, and then we're going to throttle up through this corner, and this is where we're going to roll onto the brake in 3rd gear, and then let the car roll. You'll feel the car settle down and point. Once you feel confident, you can roll back onto the throttle. You can exit right, sort of to the middle. You can take all of the curbing here. The BMW does a great job of taking the curves, particularly in that section. You can run way out here wide, so there's no reason not to straight line full throttle left chicane. As we head down here, this straightaway, we'll probably be in 4th or probably 5th gear. As soon as we see this access road here on the right side, that's our braking marker, or that's at least it's what I use for the braking marker. As I get a little braver in the races, sometimes I go a little bit farther than the access road, so I'll wait until they kind of disappears from view, and then I'll get on the brakes. Again, down to 2nd gear in this BMW. I'm going to downshift slowly, kind of clip this. The Beamer has a tendency to, if you get too much curb, it'll jump up in the air with one of the tires. If you give it aggressive throttle, the traction control will kick in, and it will be very, very squirrely off the corner and kill your run. So I try not to hit the curbs too hard there, and if I do, I make sure I don't give it a ton of gas until I feel the car sit down onto the racetrack, and I can get both wheels moving at the same rate of speed. Right through here, probably going to be in either 2nd or 3rd gear, depending on your preference. I really don't think it makes too big of a difference. In longer length races, or if I know that I'm going to be running for a bit, I try to stay in 3rd gear because I feel like it saves the rear tires a little bit. You can take all of the curb on both of these, and even a little bit of the grass, without an off track. It's very lenient through there. You might even need to slow down a little bit more for that first one so you can hit it. Don't need a lot of breakthrough there, if any at all. Just make sure you make those corners, take all the curb that you need. We want to exit that last left-handed turn in the middle to the left side, kind of where I'm at right now, and we want to turn in pretty early for this corner because we can take quite a bit of curb. As long as our left sides are on the racing surface, we are good. That means we can get on the throttle a lot earlier, and as long as we don't slip the rears by having too much wheel in it, too much aggressive throttle input, we'll be able to stay full throttle from there on. Going all the way around this corner at full throttle. I like to brake just as I get to the 300 board. I try to aim my dashboard. If you can see my mouse, I don't know if you can or not, but I try to aim my dashboard at this little logo on the wall. If they ever move the logo, that is still okay, because I know that the 200 board is pretty much right below that logo, or right above that logo rather. So that's kind of where I aim my car at. I brake right at the 300 board. If I'm getting a little more aggressive, I can go a little deeper, maybe like the 250. Again, down into second gear. This is a pretty important corner. Again, like most of the corners on this track, you want to square it off. You don't want to run through here too fast and wash out all the way to that curbing or the grass. That's never going to go well. I like to try to clip this just slightly with the right front and exit either right here in the middle or just slightly to the left, so I can carry a little more speed. Get back to the right. Normally you can see the groove. If you've got triples, it'll make this corner a heck of a lot easier. But I just follow the groove best I can down in second gear. Really let the car roll here and use the brake to change the attitude of the car. Slightly more brake for more rotation. No brake for less rotation. As the car straightens up, you want to ease into the throttle, and as soon as you feel those rears bite and you start to get that good forward traction, you can go full throttle. The goal there is to exit pretty straight, square that corner off, enter, out wide, hit that apex just perfect, and we want to exit kind of in the middle of the track again, so that we can keep the pedal to the metal, go around this corner at full throttle. Some cars, and including this one, if you have a bad exit, and then you're forced to put too much wheel angle into the car through this corner to keep the throttle down, the car's going to get really light, and then all of a sudden you're going to be spinning out on exit, and this is a really bad spot to spin out. So if you do happen to get a bad exit, even though this is a long straightaway and you will pay for it, it's better to kind of breathe the throttle, make sure that you get through that last corner okay, without the car coming out from underneath you. It's really important to get a good run out of two corners on this track. Really, you want to get a great run out of, I'll say three. You want to get a great run out of that last tight corner through the final right-hander onto the straightaway, because really, even though it's a curve, you're on throttle from the last chicane around that last corner until turn one, and that is a very, very long way. The next place that you want to be good on the exit is out of the after this little section of corners that we're about to come up to. I guess that's turn 4 technically, 3B maybe. So we're gonna go through turn 1 here, and then turn 2. I'm really counting this as 2 separate corners, even though it's one, so it's really like 3A, 3B. You really want to make sure that you get the power down smoothly here, and that really is just going to come down to not overdriving the entry, smooth brake input, nothing harsh there. You don't want to press the brake down really hard and jam the front of the car into the track, lift the back up. You just want to be very, very smooth onto the brake and off of the brake. Somebody's jamming outside. Sorry for the doggies in the background. And then you want to ease back onto the throttle. You got a long run to the next corner. So if you get a good run on someone, this is a good passing opportunity. And then the final place that you want to be really good is going to be out of this last corner, out of these little S's. So we want to have a good run here. I can gain a lot of time with people coming out of these S's. That seems to be a place where a lot of people struggle. They run wide. They don't know how to get through those sections of corners, so you can gain a ton of time right there. hear it, if you hear that, that is the traction control kicking in. There's even lights on the dash. I don't know the specifics of it in this car, but it's definitely audible. You can hear it. If you put too much wheel, too aggressive on the throttle, the traction control is going to kick in, and it's going to go, and then you're going to start to spin, and if you save it, you're going to lose a lot of time. So be very cognizant of how much wheel you're putting in it and how aggressive you're being on the throttle. You really want to have your hands on a string. As you put more throttle down, your hands need to straighten out, generally speaking, unless you're in a high-speed corner. Obviously, the aerodynamics of the car are going to keep you planted. So, anyways, I hope you found this tour of Indy informative. I hope I've done a good job of explaining all the corners. I don't want the video to go on forever and ever and ever. I've already been in the car or in the session for 23 minutes or so, don't want the video to get too long. But I don't know if my dog is ever going to stop barking, guys. Anyways, hope you found it informative. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. And hopefully we'll do some more of these GT3 track guides going forward. I right now have been driving the Mercedes AMG a ton. I think we're going to get out of the AMG and switch to the Ford Mustang, at least for this last little bit of Season 3. And then for iRacing, there is a complete overhaul of the GT3 cars coming for 2025 Season 3. So we're really excited about that. Interested to see how these new cars, or not new cars, but how the cars will drive. They're supposed to be better, so we may go from driving the AMG and the Mustang and the Ferrari some to driving more BMW again. I'm not sure what the future holds, so stay tuned to the channel. We got some exciting stuff coming for 2025 Season 3 of iRacing, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.